Hi, and welcome to the 5 Minute Travel Teacher. This episode is a Caribbean primer. My name is Dawn Kidd, and I am the owner of Kidd Travel along with my husband Mark. I have been a teacher for over 25 years, specifically in the middle school area. It has really given me the ability to be resilient and persistent and patient. But more than anything, I truly find joy in the successes and achievements of those in my care. The Caribbean is an area where people think they know, but aren't really certain. So I thought I would go over exactly what Caribbean means. First of all, the Caribbean is more than 1 million square miles. It does extend from the western shores of Mexico, the southern shores of the United States, specifically Miami, the northern shores of South America, and it is bordered on the east by the Atlantic Ocean. Within the Caribbean, there are actually thousands of islands, upwards of 7,000. It's a little difficult to count throughout the years. Some of them are extremely small. Only 2% of that 7,000 are actually inhabited. But certainly, if you look at the map, you realize that the large portion of the greater islands are covered. There are 13 different countries, different nations, as well as 14 different territories owned by the United States, Britain, France, etc. There are three major sections of the Caribbean. The first one is the Lucayan Archipelago. This primarily includes the Bahamas. Please note, Bermuda is nowhere on here. It is not part of the Caribbean, which most people don't know. The archipelago has thousands and thousands of islands. So, of the 7,000, close to 2,000 are in the Bahamas. The next major area is the Greater Antilles. This includes countries such as Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Grand Cayman. And the other section is called the Lesser Antilles, simply because I think they're smaller. They sort of make a hook that extends down from the Dominican Republic and sort of swings out down towards South America. It includes everything from St. Lucia, St. Martin, Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire. The geology of this particular area is what sort of creates the area. Plate tectonics have moved the area around over millions of years and formed underground mountains, some volcanic and some not, and have pushed up a great area. And you can sort of see it there kind of looping around on the right-hand side and creating most of these places. If you look, however, where the Bahamas are north of the Dominican Republic, southeast of Florida, you'll realize they're really not created by these plate tectonics. They are created more from coral reefs. And some people will therefore classify the Bahamas as not part of the Caribbean. If you look at the Caribbean from a culture standpoint, they all share the same indigenous people, the Tianos. And this group of people, if you look down above where it says Orinoco River, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao are technically not part of this, but certainly everyone considers them to be part of the Caribbean. This particular group of indigenous people are pretty much wiped out. There are some people that say that they are related distantly to them, but unfortunately, in the 14 and 1500s, Columbus and other explorers pretty much wiped them out. They brought with them European influences, which we still see on many of the islands. And another dark part of the Caribbean history, obviously, is its place in the triangle trade. Slave trade brought an African influence, and actually more than 5 million of the slaves brought over from Africa stayed in the Caribbean, which is more than what actually landed in America. So you can see there are a variety of influences which cause a very blended culture. The climate and weather in the Caribbean does not vary very much. There are consistent temperatures, not only year round, day round, even the water of the Caribbean stays pretty consistent. If you exclude the Bahamas, because that does get a little bit cooler, this chart right here, which is actually for Punta Cana, is fairly accurate for much of the Caribbean. The rainfall, however, does vary, and it does vary by island, but it also varies by season. This chart right here shows May getting a lot of rain. However, typically you find that rainy period from August through December. The water temperatures, as you can see, stay pretty much the same year round, well above the 70s and into the 80s. Another factor for the climate and weather in the Caribbean is obviously hurricane season. As you can see by the chart that's in front of you, hurricanes primarily occur in August, September regions. This chart shows many of them in July as well, and they can go into October, but it tends to be August and September that you will primarily find hurricanes. If you look at the picture on the bottom, this is a general chart in September where they tend to land. And you can see that the most likely track goes right up through the eastern coast of the United States. They're not easy to predict. And so, therefore, if you are planning to go to the Caribbean through those months, I highly recommend getting travel insurance so that just in case something happens, you are protected. The variety that you will find in the Caribbean is great. This right here shows a very flat island. This is St. Martin. And you have extremely mountainous regions such as St. Lucia, which has volcanic activity. You find beautiful stretches of beach like this in the Bahamas. And you can also find rocky shores like this in Barbados. If you're looking for the Caribbean, there's a great variety and a great area. In the end, when you understand that your time and money are truly valuable, please contact your favorite travel agent. They know what they're doing. They have the expert information to make sure that nothing goes wrong. I, at Kid Travel, do not charge any planning fees, and so therefore the vacation that you book with me will never cost you a cent extra, and yet you will get my expert help and advice and protection should anything go wrong. My information is up on the screen, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you.